What's going on, guys? This dealer here back again with yet another fantastic RDX with an absolutely fantastic panel as well. And we got some great topics to kind of top it all off. That's topics come first, right? So before we get into all the topics, all the good stuff, we're going to do some introductions, let some people file in. Thank you so much to those that show up before the show starts every week. You guys are fucking awesome. And we're going to start with Colt Eastwood. How you been, bud?
I'm sick of the gaming industry. It's going the wrong direction. I can't take it anymore. Going off the deep end. It's the best time right now. Like, everything's really ramping up in a good way. We're going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, if it's not your preferred option, it's a horrible way. We've also got So Shady. How you doing? How you been, bud?
Oh my God, man. Can you feel that energy in the air? We are 52 hours from blackout launch. I'm hyped, my man. I cannot wait to get online and destroy a bunch of noobs. It's going to be good.
Wow. So you're excited for gaming. That's great. We've also got Zauker joining us again as a guest here on the show. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I am still knee-deep into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I can't stop playing. This last month of gaming has been absolutely amazing. We had Spider-Man, and then Forza Horizon 4, and then now Odyssey. What is happening? And then, like Shady said, I can't wait to dominate people in Blackout with him.
Oh, wow. That's
nice. Sounds nice.
And we've also got Boom showing up at his own damn leisure.
Oh, man. Sorry about that. For some reason, I thought you went later, but I am here, bro. Thank you so much for the invite. It is awesome to be on RDX tonight.
He's like, is it the same time as always or a different time?
I don't know, man.
Thanks for joining us, bud.
Oh, no. Thanks so much for the invite. Yeah, listen, like Zolker, I've been playing, and I know you've been playing the heck out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Obviously,
oh man,
one of the best Assassin's Creed in the entire series.
Game's complete trash. Didn't play it, but it's trash. Also, we've got... Hey, D, are you back, bud?
Yeah, I'm back.
Right. Welcome back, D. You weren't here last week because, like I told everyone then, you had your herpes flared up. Good to have you back.
Gosh. Yeah, man, it's good to be back to the land of living. I fucking had the plague. I was sick like a freaking dog, man. It's good to be back, man. Lots of great topics this week. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, you gotta take them plague pills. We all got them plague pills. Hey, I've also got to give shout outs to those who guys power the damn show. Starting with Channing Pennington, John Yoon, Mel S. Chief Exec, Guillermo Cavillo, Lethal Papa, Robert Prather, Michael Bowen. And keep in mind, guys, we're giving away a copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey on Patreon because the game is that damn good. That game, as well as like 12 others you can choose from. So check out that link out of the show and help support the show. We appreciate it. Also, stream update real quick. Did a patron stream last show. It was supposed to be the first Tuesday of every month right after the show. And I got like several messages. People are saying it's like 3 a.m. over here in Europe and, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try to move that to like somewhere on the weekend. So I'm sure I'll figure it out between here and there, but it'll probably be on like a Saturday around noon. So everyone's up, first I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I do appreciate those that could make it to the stream.
I got to say something because Randall Thor is in the chat.
Nice.
Shout out.
Randall Thor. Yeah, we've been partying up a lot here lately with Rand.
Yep, good times.
Rand,
anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. Fuck it. If Rand even has some time, I mean, I'll shoot him a link if he wants to come on and talk about Assassin's Creed because ain't nobody going to just take our opinions on it. It's got to be the man with a million. So... I'm sure he probably won't be able to join, but I will shoot this link to Rand. If he finds time, then Rand is more than welcome to join the show, as always. So, yeah, guys, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's our first topic, being as there is some drama around it, and we've also got performance metrics from Digital Foundry as well regarding the game. So, to start it off, Odyssey does achieve 4K on the X when you're looking at the sky. And then, as I said before, yeah, it's probably going to be when you're looking at the damn sky, but it does outdo the Pro by a whopping 76%, my bad. And that's kind of one misconception. A lot of people are like, well, the X it's only 25% more powerful, or you only get 25% more of this. No, it's usually anywhere from 50 to 100% more of resolution, things like that. But the game is looking good. Here's the deal, though. A lot of people, particularly a lot of those who haven't even played the game, have decided to come out and talk about these microtransactions of the game. Now, now keep in mind, here on this show, we have hammered Ubisoft, EA, Activision, all of them over their dog shit microtransactions, right?
Yep.
We have the year of shows to show this, but I can honestly say that most all of these microtransactions in Odyssey are, for one, the same as they were in Origins that nobody fucking talked about, but secondly, cosmetic. All right, so if you want a $14 Pegasus, you want to take an L, you can do that, but it's up to you, right? They do have XP boosts, which some people feel were necessary, but that's another aspect of the game. People are saying they're grinding and stuff. That's one reason I wanted to have Boom on, because I heard Boom said he was grinding a little bit, but I'm 40 plus hours in and have grinded 0. So let us know what's going on with the grinding. How are you grinding, Boom?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You know, when you talk about the grind, I guess the best way to say it is that it's not like your traditional, if you're playing Destiny grind, right? Where you're doing the same mission over and over and over and doing the same strike. I got to tell you, this has a lot in fact, you know what? It reminds me a lot of playing The Witcher 3. Like, you're going to a mission, right? There's a mark on the map that you put, and on the way there, you get distracted 17 times. And that's why I have over 40 plus hours. I just hit level 24 tonight. I think that the game is everything that you could possibly want if you're into the open world kind of genre. I mean, there's so much to do. The ship battles, the big war battles, the side missions. If someone's missing a cane for their, so they could walk, you can go find it.
I got a bum leg. Can you find my sword? So grinding to you, the way you meant that wasn't in the Destiny sense. Oh, I gotta fucking go do this thing 18 times so I can level up. You meant it in a different context.
Yes, I actually did, and might have been taken out of context simply because when you say grind, you do think of like a Destiny where you are playing the same mission 100 times just so you can get that piece of armor, where there's armor sets all over the place, and it's really just the side missions you continue to play through. If you take down a base, or like I said, you can get to the open world war battle,
an outpost.
Yes, exactly.
Loot is everywhere.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
And you'll find something so great. There is one merchant I found who sells like really rare stuff that comes from like a different currency. I think that's microtransactions, but it wasn't obvious unless I went to it, and I guess it might launch the store.
It's not microtransactions. You can use certain resources that you find in the game from doing weeklies. Right? Yeah, you get them from weeklies. So you kill legendary NPCs and you get currency for it, and it resets every Tuesday. So it reset it today. Okay. And today they brought out new cosmetics for your ship and new legendary items that you can go get with in-game currency that you earn doing bounties and stuff like that. So no microtransactions at all.
So good, Zocker. Thank you, because I've played the game like almost 30 hours. I've never seen the store other than grab my free rewards from the rewards store. I haven't seen, this is not an invasive microtransaction. Like Dealer said, we hound on this stuff. We don't want this hindering games. And I think this is one of those cases where it is hindering the sales and the success of a really, really great game.
I want to clarify something, right? For one, with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this game is so much more than people know because they have not played it. It's so much more than Origins. It is the first RPG ever in the same tier as Witcher 3 to me. This is by far the best experience I've had in an RPG since Witcher 3. And it does some things better than Witcher 3 because it offers different set of activities. But, like I said, it's in the same tier. That's amazing, right? For one. Secondly, I think people are confusing grinding with something like Destiny has to offer. For one, the people complaining about grinding love fucking Destiny. Makes no sense, right? But secondly, if you consider the fact that, hey, I need to be a level 23 to do this quest and I'm a level 20, do you consider that to be a grind? Then Witcher 3 is full of grinding. I can go get a level 33 quest an hour into Witcher and be fucked for 60 hours and not be able to do that quest. That makes no sense to me, right? So you really got to define grinding properly. What Boom's talking about, I wouldn't consider grinding. As a matter of fact, there are a ton of side missions in the game, some better than others, but I will say it's got some pretty good side missions in the game. There are a lot of the lowest tier side missions, I'll call them, where you go and you fetch this, or hey, can you go murder everything? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, can you go murder everything in sight? Sure, I'll do that. You got some gold? Yes, okay. That's a side mission a lot.
They also
But
have the
yeah,
quest boards that gives you that have missions. Each town or each port has a quest, quest boards where you go and there's like, usually 6 or 8 different quests. Some are on the particular island and others take you way off.
Yeah.
And it's just there is XP to be found literally at every corner.
Yeah, and those boards, I usually grab them right when I go into a new area. I just grab them all because as you're going through the side missions and the main mission, you're going to run into them. And so why not do that and get a couple more gear pieces and actually level up your character? And it's on the way. It's not just, they don't force it down your throat. It's just great and natural. I've run into so many side quests where it's just natural. And not to mention, this is one of the first games where if you do kill some fort or some camp and there is a mission for it, it'll pop up and tell you, hey, you can go turn this in right now and get your XP for killing that guy. I just had that. And the person's like, oh, I want this person killed. And your character will be like, oh, you didn't hear? I just murdered that dude.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's like Fallout, Skyrim type stuff. And I see a lot of Skyrim in this game. And I feel a lot of Witcher too. I was actually on my way to a main mission and I bumped into a major target in the storyline that was hiding in an area, and all of a sudden I recognize him. I'm like, hey, what's his name? And we got into a brawl and I killed him. I'm like, holy crap, I just completed another huge quest. And I was like, I haven't seen an organic RPG open world thing like that in a long time. Because most of these fake RPGs are kind of like, they section it off. They don't allow you to see an NPC unless the story tells you can do it. And it's pretty cool.
They're out and about doing their thing, and particularly when you unlock. We're not going to talk about Odyssey forever, guys. I know a lot of you guys haven't checked it out. You're not interested. We get that, but there's a lot of stuff going on with the game. I will not contribute to shitting on this game.
I agree.
One of the best games, if not the best game, in my opinion, that Ubisoft has ever made. This game, I still don't think people understand quite how big the game is. If you're an RPG fan, if you're the type to say, fuck it, I'm going to role play and I'm going to go and I'm not going to rush this. There's no rush. It's the journey, not the destination, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna start the game. Now, what's this question mark? I'm going to go there. Boom. You find a location and some loot. You're like, holy shit, that kind of felt cool, right? Oh, this is underwater, right? This is really awesome. And it takes you 6 hours to get off the first island. And then the Odyssey screen roll hits and you're like, holy shit, that was 6 hours. So this is one of those games you take your time. You do not rush this. You immerse yourself. I don't know anyone who's run directly just straight quests, main story mission after main story mission. I'd imagine that those people might find that they're underleveled, but honestly, I don't know anyone who's done that. And personally, I am overleveled for the main quest.
Yes.
Overleveled. So
that's what happens because you cannot resist. At least I can't resist to go to those those locations and knock out a fort or a camp.
Yep.
We haven't even talked about, and we're not going to go into it, but we haven't even talked about the boat. Like getting on the boat is a whole other great experience. It just brings back the great time we had on Black Flag. But the weird thing is I see in the chat and I see a lot on social media that there's a big group of people who are like, F this game. It looks just like Origins. I loved Origins. This is even better than Origins, and I love that game.
Oh, this destroys Origins, and I enjoyed Origins. Keep that in mind. It was like
I really enjoyed Origins.
Hey guys, let me just add real quick. I know we don't want to beat this horse too long, but we haven't even discussed about the main one of the main side missions is the cult that you actually have to hunt down these people.
Yeah,
it's just
I didn't bring that up because it was kind of a story thing, but it was talked about in several reviews. So
yes,
it's not like
certainly
it ruined everyone's fucking day. But the cult thing does turn into its own thing, and when you find those, it introduces a new tab in the menu for you to do all kinds of other stuff. So just at the end of the day, guys,
people should just go Redbox this thing, dude. If you don't want to buy it, I hear you. But I mean, dealer, people should just at least try it.
Just try it and give it a chance, open mind, and don't rush anything. Just play it like you bought it, and then if you like it, go buy it, because I think a lot of people end up liking it. Engagement on this one is 33% higher than that of Origins on Steam as well. Like, people are really sticking to this one much more than they were Origins at this time. And I'm 40 plus hours, and I don't even feel like I've cracked into the game, and that's not a bad thing to me. So, D, have you tried this?
No, I haven't tried it. I got a backlog of games right now, and I know I won't have the time to put the real effort into it. So I'm probably gonna wait till Black Friday when it drops in price and play it over the holidays.
Good. It's worth doing. Shady, we'll give you the last word on this, and we will kind of move on. Zalker kind of offered some insight on some other stuff, and we're going to move on to the next topic.
A couple thoughts actually. One is, would there even be a complaint if they weren't selling the XP boost to begin with? I know as soon as people are selling XP boosts, the community seems to react that if you don't buy them, the grind, quote unquote, is longer instantly. Just because they're for sale, the grind has to be longer because they're chasing you to that store.
Which Origin sold you as well, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that applies here at all. I also feel that because this is a true RPG, and first in the series of Assassin's Creed especially, that for long-term Assassin's Creed fans that did maybe play those games a little bit more main story oriented, now the fact that they're forced to go and do this side stuff, whether it's of quality or not, it's side content. They don't want to do side content, let's say. That's grindy to them. They're not enjoying it. They don't want to have to do it. And because you kind of do in order to level up, like if you're not picking up metals and wood material and stuff like that, you're not going to have a pleasant time with this game. It does, to have the best time and to be the most successful, you have to really expose yourself to a large breadth of its content. So to a lot of people, that is forced and becomes grindy to them. And I can see their point. This is doing something different that the games before it weren't. I can see that. But I think a lot of it really does come down to the fact that they do sell an XP boost. If that wasn't for sale, I think people would look at it as just a fleshed out RPG that expected to be treated as such, and it would be more widely accepted as a good thing.
See, I wouldn't even include the metals and wood because all that's if you want to upgrade your armor, which by the way, the gear in this game is so cool. There's so much of it, and you don't even need to upgrade anything because you're always finding new stuff. But if you want to upgrade your armor or your boat, for instance, you would need to find some metal and wood, which is very, very easy to find.
You can, or you just disassemble your. You disassemble your gear that you don't want that's lower level.
Instead of selling it, absolutely, correct.
I wouldn't even know this game had microtransactions if you guys weren't freaking talking about it. Let me ask one more question. If somebody buys a $14 Pegasus, does that mean they're supporting microtransactions? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it's like buying a $14 skin in Fortnite, but you also pay for the game this time. But I would argue this game has so much more than Fortnite could ever have, right? So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, just take our words for what they were. We are all seriously enjoying the title and the grind. Many people, like I said, technically, according to a lot of these definitions, Witcher 3 is nothing but grind, when in fact it's just not. So
it's just
if you don't like doing side stuff, if you don't like investing your time looking into things, you're not someone who's going to play an RPG.
Right.
Really, if you play Destiny, you love Destiny, stuff like that, don't complain about a grind. That's kind of odd. So I'm going to go ahead and move this forward, guys. Great discussion there. Odyssey's great. Brian Harris said he spent 10 hours just hunting down ships and legendary ships on the sea one day. I mean,
sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, he went hard, you know, and you don't even have to mess with the ship. They don't even push you towards it. It's weird. So you can do whatever you want. That's the cool thing.
It's good.
Speaking of doing whatever you want, Forza Horizon 4 seems to be doing whatever it wants. And shout out to over 400 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Let's try to get it to 300 for the end of the show. Forza Horizon 4 is the fastest selling in the franchise in the UK, which is most likely indicative of the sales over here in the States. It tends to be any kind of hike over there. Engagement is massive. Game Pass numbers are up. You know what? I've been addicted to Odyssey here, but from what I played of Horizon 4, 10, 12 hours or more, absolutely high-quality game. Anybody surprised by this?
No,
not at all.
Not at all, man.
I was expecting a 90-something. I was expecting it to be over what 3 is. That's really fun. Too bad Odyssey came out.
I'm gonna be honest. It actually surprised me of how well it did to me. I enjoyed the game so much. I enjoyed Forza Horizon 3, but not to the point where I was like drooling for this game. And I put 30 hours into this game and just loved every single minute of it. I played with my buddies. We would race each other. We would just go off jumps, and it was just a lot of fun. And doing the PvP aspect was a lot of fun. Everything in the game was just smooth. It was very smooth.
Like a big Forza fan either.
No, I'm not. I'm not a big racing fan in general, and I'm not a big Forza fan. But the game just blew me away, and I played it so much. And then, of course, like Colt said, and everybody, Odyssey came out, and I was like, okay, that's the beauty of Forza. I'm gonna come back to it later, and it's just gonna be just as good. And it might even have some DLC that I can play with too. But the just the game in general is just so much fun that I can play over the next couple years.
That's what I was saying, because I was getting a little bit of shit. Why are you playing Assassin's Creed? Forza is better. And I'm like, well, they're completely different games. Metacritic scores are very flexible here. But regardless, nobody expected Odyssey. And I still don't think people understand what Odyssey really is, even after everything we just said. Nobody expected Odyssey to be what it is. And I'm sorry. I just got to play Odyssey. I got to play Odyssey. So, it's one of those games you can come back to even next year after the expansions are out and just continue that journey, you know?
Well, I think the first expansion drops in December, and I think that if you bought the car pass, which I bought the $100 edition, because it just was too much of a value not to get that one instead of piecemealing everything. You're getting 2 cars every week until forever. It seems like
both expansions, which by the way, the expansions were never included in the before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just have something quick I wanted to ask the panel regarding Forza. I'm having a really good time with it. We're all playing on the X. I was wondering if this is just a me problem. The burden of choice when it comes to playing in that buttery 60 frames, knowing that it doesn't look as good while you play, or having it look blitzkrieg amazing, but knowing that it doesn't play as good. Either or is fantastic, but I know there's a part of my brain that is telling me it's not as good on either or. Like, it's just, is it because I can choose that it's happening? Is it just me?
You know what? I feel your pain. I played on the X. I played on the X. It looks great on the X. The 1080p 60 mode is good, but I cannot lie. I play it on my PC just because I can get that 4K 60, and I don't have to choose. So
that's right.
Yeah,
like,
I feel you.
Like, I think if it just launched on the X with just the 60 mode and that was the only option, I wouldn't have had a single problem. I would have played it and just been like, yes, this is insane. But because there's both, there's a little bit of my brain that is like, it's not as good as it could be in one aspect. And it kind of
I can tell you, Shady. No, I can tell you, Shady. I played it at 1080 60 for a long time. And then I said, well, I want to go play it for a while on 4K 30 because I enjoyed the enhancement of 3. And that heavy motion blur that makes that 30 frames so solid and smooth, it just wasn't worth it. Like, that shine was gone.
I thought so too.
I was gone because it was kind of driving. It was kind of driving me. It was kind of driving me crazy because the shadows from the trees on the road are really gritty and kind of shimmery from the lower resolution. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should play in 4K. And I spend an hour in 4K, and I'll never go back. I'll keep it on 60.
That's what I play on, but I mean, I know there's a couple less leaves on the ground and this and that. Like, I just know, and part of me gets upset with that. And I think it might be a me problem to a little bit there.
You know what else has a couple less leaves on the ground is PUBG. It's getting graphics options, apparently. That is apparently.
This is why Dealer's the host, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting graphics options. So apparently it's getting different settings. The performance mode is going to be one of them. Trust me, people, that doesn't mean you're getting 60. Keep in mind, games like Horizon Zero Dawn have a performance mode that are locked at 30. It's probably them just saying, all right, we're running it at the X, but we're going to run it at 1080p or maybe a little higher, 1440p, and we'll see if we can try to get it to 30 as much as possible. Because remember, that's CPU bottlenecked. That's going to be on the developer side. GPU is a little more straightforward. If you got the overhead, it's just going to go for the most part. CPU, the coding just at its core seems to be messed up in PUBG, so who knows how solid that's going to be.
So you think this performance mode is the quote-unquote downgrade artistic vision that they're trying to deliver now? Is that the rebrand, is just performance mode?
I don't know. There's no real specifics there, but we do know that they are offering different. If they do unlock the frame rate, who knows? If someone walks in there and magically gets it up to a higher frame rate, that'd be insane, but I just don't see it happening. I could be completely wrong.
Well, the new map they brought out, the smaller one that's kind of tropical, if you play that map, which I play with my buddy a lot, and you saw me playing it, it runs a lot smoother than it did on the regular map. And I mean, noticeably smoother, to the point where my buddy are like, wow, this is really nice. Don't get me wrong, it's no Call of Duty Blackout. That was just silky smooth. But it still was a noticeable improvement to the point where we enjoyed the game a lot more with that. And I think it's the map size. But yeah, if they're moving towards that more, that's great strides. And it's going to help the game grow even more on Xbox.
D, what were you saying?
I just think that game's gonna die a slow death, especially once Call of Duty comes out with their own mode, their own battle royale mode. I don't think that game's gonna survive. It's on
its deathbed, according to
it looks subpar. Like on console, it definitely plays subpar. And as much as
people, 2 years old, isn't it?
as much as people make fun of Fortnite plays a lot better to me. I'm not into the whole building aspect of the game, but just the shooting mechanics, the fluidity of it, the lack of lag in the game, it just plays better. I'm just so over PUBG.
Are you saying PUBG fans are on suicide watch?
I just think they're all gonna jump ship once that Call of Duty comes out. I'm gonna skip Call of Duty this year because it doesn't have a story mode, and I'm just not interested without a story mode. Maybe Black Friday, if it's like $20 in the bin or something, maybe I'll pick it up. But apart from that, I'm not interested in it. But I know a lot of people will flock to that game for the simple fact that it's Call of Duty and that it has a battle royal mode, and it looks far superior to PUBG. So let's be honest.
Hey, Colt, Underachiever has a question there or a statement in Super Chat if you want to tackle that.
Okay.
This email.
Zocker, change your freaking smoke detector battery.
I had to mute my mic. I was laughing so hard.
Now keep in mind, we're on party chat with Zocker like almost daily, and it's and in the back, like every minute and a half. And I'm like, oh my gosh, take off your left shoe, throw it up there, and knock that son of a biscuit down.
That's hilarious. That really is funny.
Shout out to Underachiever, who's been cracking skulls here lately as well. So, yeah, Zocker, we know you already got a bunch of scuff marks on your ceiling around your smoke detector, but have someone with better aim come there and throw a shoe.
Well, he plays PUBG, so he has to have rocket aim, right? I mean,
he's used to overcompensating and all the work that do there.
It's just turned terrible towards me. I love it.
Hey, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD are now backwards compatible. And I gotta say, man, backwards compatibility, what a piece of shit feature, right?
Yeah, nobody likes that. I mean, listen, I'm sorry to say, if you like backwards compatibility, you're a troll. I'm sorry.
It's not free, Boom. You still have to buy the game if you don't already own it.
You're right. I'm so sorry.
So at the very worst, I now have the option to own potentially one of my favorite games on my platform of choice. But a lot of people still own the damn game, so maybe they just want that digital copy to come on over or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Even when they bring it over, though, I mean, listen, to be honest, if you look at a lot of these prices, most of the games that they do make backwards compatible are $10. So if you really love that game, and let's say you have all your stuff in storage, like for me, I have a ton of 360 stuff, and it's just in storage because it's just my wife and I in the apartment, so we don't have that much room. So unfortunately, things have to go there, and that's where my 360 collection went. If I really love the game, I'll just drop the $10, and boom, there you're playing it. That's it. Yeah. And a lot of the times, these games are showing up in Game Pass after they're announced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So at the very least, it's just another potential option. Hey, shout out to almost 550 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. I'm forced to do that. I've got a gun to my head right now. It does help. Thank you guys so much. Hey, you know what else is going to help PS4 pull even better numbers? Is this apparent price drop hitting Japan, likely to hit the States sometime soon. It's been a couple years. What's that price? $350 is what this translates to. How do you think this is going to go? You think it's going to, because Spider-Man sold a lot of PS4 Pros. We know that. That's why custom consoles are important.
The weird thing is Japan doesn't buy a lot of consoles. I mean, I could look up the numbers, but I don't think they bought a whole bunch of PS4s.
That might be why they did this in Japan first, right?
Yeah. I can look it up while we're talking, but it's kind of weird.
But when this makes its way to the States, could be as early as a few months from now, a month from now. You never know. That's going to be, that's going to do some damage, man. A $350 Pro.
7 million PS4s sold in its lifetime in Japan alone. Just 7 million. So, they just don't have consoles. They have smaller devices, and that's just part of the culture that they prefer smaller devices. The Switch is doing awesome over there, but go ahead.
And that's compared to 700 Xbox Ones over there, right?
Yeah. Actually, that number is 100,000. Yeah, 100,000 Xbox Ones. Man, yeah. So they don't fuck with the Xbox over there, people. But like I said, when this hits the States, which it is inevitable, that's a $350 Pro, and I feel like Microsoft have to reduce that price of the X to at least $450 minimum. So what are your thoughts on that, D? What do you think they should do there?
Yeah, I think they should lower the price of in all honesty, I don't know how much it costs them to produce that system, but if they could drop it to like $400, that'd be a major
Given
way,
that $399 price tag would be attractive to most people.
especially over the holiday season, Black Friday, and and it would kind of put the boots to the Pro because let's be honest, it's a much more capable system than the Pro.
Well, on Amazon, the X is regularly, anywhere from 430 to 450. Like I see it all the time, and I don't know why it's on a lower price. It's not like I don't know if these retailers are just taking a margin hit on it or something, but you can look right now. The X is actually in low stocks. The Pro is like sold out almost everywhere. It's doing awesome. So
hey, shout out to Xbox GT. Loving the show, guys. Thank you. We appreciate it. For those in the chat, what do you think they should do this holiday? And where do you think, whether or not they're going to take a loss on it, where do you think that price should be for the X to be? And like I said, I feel like I got my money's worth for the console, for the Blu-ray player and everything that I use pretty frequently, and all the games and just the night and day difference between some of these games. What do you guys think they should do price-wise? Because if the Pro goes down to $350, I mean, the X has to respond.
Well, Cake Batter just said in the chat $399. I think Noof also just said $399. I agree. I don't know what they're what they're going to lose in regards to production pricing, but they have to compete. You can't leave your system even at $450. I think that would be it would be still slow sales. You got to get it down to $399 and possibly throw a game. I mean, look, Black Friday is around the corner. We're coming into the real swing of the holiday season, so people are going to be buying consoles, and if they want to compete, I mean, they have to do something.
D Black Raven in the chat agrees. Underachiever agrees. Go ahead. Was that Zalker?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many Pros are going to be out there to be sold. I mean, they seem sold out everywhere already, and I know they cut production on them a little bit because they weren't selling so well, or who knows. But they're not out there right now for people to get. I don't know if they're holding on to them for Black Friday to kind of hit that rush. But X's, I mean, the price could drop, but I just don't know how many Pros are going to be out there. People got to remember when the PS2 or PS4 went on sale last year, the GameSpot I went to go get it because it was $199 and you got like a $50 gift card. They only got 15 or like 10. And so it wasn't like they had a massive amount of number. It was just, we got to see what they do. What happens with the numbers. Yeah, they were sold out.
Yeah, I went to Target and Walmart and a few places. I was going to get one at Christmas. I ended up waiting and getting a used one a couple months after Christmas. Yeah, they were sold out at Black Friday. Sony made the right move.
Yep,
they did.
That Uncharted bundle sold like crazy. And Microsoft have made some initiatives like trade in your Xbox One S and get $300. That's insane. Towards an X, that was a ridiculous deal.
Yeah, you're paying $200 for an X, which is ridiculous, dealer.
Yeah, for that capability. I mean, for 5 Xbox One S stacked in capability, that's a substantial value there. But
they were doing that program so they could build those server racks.
We got these new servers. Oh, they're off the chain. Are you done back there disassembling those Xboxes? Yeah,
my fingers hurt.
It's interesting.
Just out of curiosity, why do you guys think the Pro is starting to ramp up in sales now?
Spider-Man?
2 games that hit. Spider-Man, God of War, they're absolutely must-owns in my opinion.
Yep. The Spider-Man console sold out really fast, and it generated a demand. People wanted that Spider-Man console. They couldn't get it, so they just we do this all the time. They just convinced themselves, dang it, I want a PS4 Pro, and they went and bought one. And
I'm one of them. I bought the Spider-Man PS4 Pro because it was an awesome looking console, custom console, and it came with a game that I really wanted to play with. So
you know what? Let me just add to you what you're saying, Zolka, because what you're saying is awesome. But let's not forget, technically, you got the game for free.
Yep.
Because Pro a Pro itself is $399. So what you're getting for your $399 is not only an awesome paint job on the console and the controller, but you're getting Spider-Man as well.
And I actually told them. They told me, yeah, we have Pros. I was like, I don't want a regular one. I want the Spider-Man custom console one because I'm not going to pay an extra $60 for a game. Right. I just didn't find it. The X is satisfying me more than any console I've ever had. So it needed to come with that game for me to even get it, to be honest with you.
Well, Noof actually picked one up as well, and that's what I always tell people that they say don't care about color or custom consoles. And I'm like, well, get a beige Xbox One X and tell me you don't care about color. You want things to look cool or at least preferable, and then that extra game is another incentive to purchase that as well. So, Shady, what do you think about this? We got Pete Hines from Bethesda talking about next generation. He says that streaming is going to be a big theme next generation, which he is not the first one to say this. He also says cross progression and cross play. Cross progression is going to be more important than cross play, in his opinion, meaning you'll be able to take one save and just go to your other device and play it somewhere else.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that would be a big thing as well. Obviously, there are a lot of people out there that are multi-console owners that, say, as Destiny's example, have both copies and play with both fan bases, and it'd be nice to play as the same Titan and not have to play as a different character every time, depending on the console you're on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big win for everybody. With crossplay, I think obviously that's a bonus as well. More players in these games is a good thing. But these games, they already have a lot of players. We're not at that dire moment of without crossplay, we're doomed yet. I don't think we'll ever be there. But
No,
I
it's
think
just
the cross progression is a big thing. And as far as streaming goes, I mean, just open your eyes and look at what the biggest companies in the world are getting their feet into these days, and it's game streaming. So it makes sense to me, man. It's going to be a big thing. It's not going to be the only thing. That's what a lot of people need to understand. It's not the only thing. It's just to expand the existing gamer player base of the world. Not everyone wants to sit in their living room with a multi-$100 box, and that's all it does. There are a lot of people out there that are out and about or whatever with a device that can already do it in their pocket. So why not let them enjoy it too? This is a good move.
Video game virus says too many people shilling for streaming. I don't get it. And if you're reading Twitter and stuff, you would actually think that, and I don't blame you for thinking that at all. But I think the fact that people are staying optimistic about the technology, because keep in mind the example most people use is something like Gaikai, which later became PS Now, was never the industry standard, was always behind the curve in latency. OnLive started in like 2003, died in like 2008 or somewhere around there. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to sit there and shit on something before I think the most capable company has done it. Either that be Microsoft or Google, right? We've heard good things about both so far. So I'm willing to sit here and say a lot of things about streaming, but shilling is not one of them. As a matter of fact, I think when people see that people make videos on this, they're shilling for it or hyping it up, when in fact we're saying it's got to be done perfectly. To be a success, everything's got to work.
Hang on a second. Top Dog said, if I see someone with an Xbox controller playing on their phone, I'm going to laugh at them. Let me counter that. If I see somebody with a PSVR headset on their face, I'm going to laugh at them. Now, what people don't understand, I have a good friend
with the helmet on, the golden dildos in his hands. He's got the. Oh my God!
I have a good friend who has a 2-hour train ride to commute to his work, to his job, and he's got 2 hours where he's sitting on a train with high-speed Wi-Fi on it. Like, this streaming option would be incredible for someone like him. And we're not all the same, and that's the problem. I think everyone who has the loudest mouth about this streaming thing, I have a lot to say about this. The ones who have the loudest mouth, they don't understand that nobody is exactly like them. We all have different needs. We all live in different areas. Some of us don't have internet that would work with streaming. So this isn't for you. Just keep buying your conventional console.
Yep.
And so guess what? You're gonna miss out on being able to access your game outside your home for that time that you could do that. But right now, Microsoft has cut down the need on the bandwidth 80% to compute that game to your screen, basically using that device. And this is a really good way to let you access your games when you want, where you want. And people who don't like this, they're stuck in this mindset that it is going to be it'll be an OnLive or a PS Now type situation. This is totally different. Google and Microsoft have
good information. We're going to save that topic, right? We got some really good information that is from a source that has fucked with this already. So Mike D had a really good question as well. Please ask that again during that topic towards the end of the show, because that's a really good question, and I'm sure people will be looking out for that one. But
now, Dealer, would you mind if I'm not sure if it's the topic that's going to be talked about, but they did show they didn't show what the Google thing looks like, but they showed Assassin's Creed Odyssey running on it.
1080p 60, yeah,
and it looked fantastic, right? So I don't, I did a rant video today on my channel. I don't like doing them. It's only the second one I've ever done, but it's because everyone kept using the word scared and scary. The digitally,
we are seeing Xbox turn into a
I listen. I was on Twitter and I was looking and I watched a couple of people's videos, which I'm fans of, which I'm not going to mention. And the word, I'm scared, and this really, this technology is scary to think about. That there won't be a box underneath my TV. I don't understand why people scream that the building is on fire when someone just lit a match. You understand what I'm saying? It's just really silly that if you want the $500 box underneath your TV, you're gonna have it. But if you want to spend that $150 and maybe get a second one, or you don't want to spend the $500 and you can play your Xbox One X2 or whatever it is, a PS5, you're going to be able to do that. I don't understand why people are really just running for the hills over this stuff.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go all in on that here in a little bit, but you got a ton of great stuff there, and trust me, anybody with a brain is not the ones running around like their heads on fire when Microsoft announces, hey, you can play this anywhere you want to go. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. That's a bad thing now. So I want to talk about that, but we'll definitely have to wait a little bit for that one. I know the Pete Hines thing is kind of straightforward, but Zalker, I'm sure you agree. Echoing Shady, right?
Oh yeah, cross progression to me is huge, and everything about it. Like if the cross play and the streaming is all good, but I want cross progression with everything. I want to be able to take my Destiny character or take whatever character I have and go play it on my PC if I wanted to with my buddy. Especially now where games, people are, everything's grindy, right? Why? Well, you know what? I don't want to grind twice, I guess. But at the same time, especially games like Destiny and games that are online, like Fortnite, just take everything with me wherever I go, whenever the hell I want. If I'm on the toilet, I don't care. I want to take my character with me.
How is that a bad thing? Anyway, but what is bad is people like consumers. I don't even know if this guy's a consumer. Maybe he gets it from his mom. Desmacy or whatever in the chat says that Phil Spencer just made the Xbox console irrelevant. Now, by your comments, I'm guessing that it was already irrelevant to you. It's not like you actually give a shit if it's irrelevant to anyone else. You're fanboying out yourself. Secondly, people of that mindset, Xbox is now relevant because I can play my games anywhere I want to go. Why the fuck does it matter if you are benefiting by having the freedom to play your games where you want to play?
Hold on. It's because you're not getting it, dealer. He is admitting his allegiance to one plastic box. He's admitting that his precious game on PS4 can't be played anywhere else, and that keeps and we call this fanboy, that keeps his fanboy mentality intact, that he can have his game in one place, no one else can have it.
Except for the other million fucking owners like myself. No one else can have it.
And me. Right. I'm dumb club. I got it, guys.
And he's basically admitting that and Sony's already going to do this next generation. That's what he doesn't understand.
Sony have already done this. That's what people don't understand.
Now, and he calls this damage control. The damage control, damn Z's, or whatever your name is. Dude, I don't want to yell at you, and I don't want to make you feel bad. I don't want to hurt your feelings or embarrass you. But what you don't understand is Sony's already tried to do this. They're already trying to do it with PS Now. They're already letting you play your games on PC. They're still trying. It's not the best because it's old tech from 2012. Now they're going to do a better version of it next generation. And you have to remember, if you can have your games like the God of War Part 2 reboot, whatever new game comes out, if you can have that game playable somewhere else besides your PS4 at home in front of your couch, why is that a bad thing? That's what you don't understand. I know why it's a bad thing, bud. It's because it's on Xbox, and you don't like anything Xbox does, and that makes you a fanboy.
You wouldn't like the freedom to be able to play something like Spider-Man on a high-end rig if you had it, and that shows that you are locked into that mentality is simply, in a way, anti-consumer. But at the end of the day, we got to move on. Wasted too much time because we see these comments.
I just want to say something real quick, though, dealer. People are blowing it way out of proportion. First of all, you can't play 4K HDR on your phone, on your tablet. That's going to be locked to the console. You're always going to need a console. What is wrong with wanting to pick up, your tablet and play on the go? And for PC guys out there complaining that they can't play Red Dead Redemption 2, with this service, they'd be able to play Red Dead Redemption 2 on their PC, on their tablet, on their phone. How is this a bad thing, having more options?
I think a lot of people have tried PS Now, D, and they think that's how all streaming is. When in fact, we have information, solid information we're going to talk about later in the show that directly contradicts their notions. So, that's a good point, D. People just don't understand, and knowing is half the battle, a battle they have lost. Hellblade getting a physical release, guys. December 4th. Nice. Yes. So, what'd you say?
No, I was saying that's great. I mean, listen, the more people that get that game in their hands that don't want to actually buy it digitally, the better it is for Ninja Theory. The game is fantastic.
I was going to say, I got the pterodactyls. I was sending the messages to the Flintstones. The physical copies are out. Go buy the game.
Hey, man, to each their own. You know, if you want to buy it physical, you can buy it physical.
No
It's
doubt.
finally
I'm just
coming.
joking. No doubt.
I know you're just kidding. It's finally coming December 4th, according to Aaron Greenberg. Hellblade, if you haven't checked it out, it's like a $30 game. I bought several copies, several for patrons, several for other people. Supported the hell out of that game, and I enjoyed what they managed to achieve on $10 million. That game looks insane on the
Dilla,
X.
did you buy that for both the PS4 and the Xbox One?
No, because I knew it was coming to PS4 or Xbox One. So I was like, I'm just going to play through it once and enjoy it on the X.
I bought it on both consoles, and I was glad to do it.
Yep, supporting. Here's something else I want to talk about. And shout out to over 600 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. Aaron Greenberg caught in a little lie here, right? Now, he says on Twitter that Xbox has not announced a release date for Crackdown beyond February, okay? But that is not true. They actually announced a release date of February 22nd in a tweet, and a tweet only, to my knowledge. That tweet was later deleted. So there's a very real possibility that Crackdown 3 will not come out on February 22nd. Aaron Greenberg acts like that was never a thing now, but it was. What's going to happen if this game gets pushed back? I say they need to move it up to January. Move it up to January. You got Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil 2 Remake. There's not much competition in the vein of people that are looking forward to Crackdown that I could think of. Move it up to January. Move it up. It's ready. Phil said it could have came out this holiday, but there was too much competition. Why not? Why push it back? You know?
I think Phil walked that back. I think he released a tweet like last week saying that the game needs a little bit more time.
Yes.
Do we know how far?
Yeah, but I mean, they already know they have that time all the way up, for 4 or 5 more months.
He's playing it now, yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out what they were exactly saying. Like, you didn't quote that tweet word for word. Let me grab it real quick. It says, oh, shoot.
It says,
Twitter is a big, big world.
There's
Do we know when it's being pushed till?
Well, it was weird the way they said it.
Well, that was Aaron Greenberg's way of saying that, hey, don't be surprised that date changes. Because everything's,
I've heard people throwing around the 28th, which is only a week later. And if that's the case, I think that feeds into my conspiracy that Microsoft wants to use Crackdown as a way to push people into Game Pass. Everyone's all spent out on Anthem and Metro and maybe Days Gone.
Well, they're using every game to push.
Here's the tweet.
They are, but by releasing it after such a heavy release day on the 22nd, everyone's all overspent.
Trust me, at that point, the number one reason for moving the date is to not get destroyed by massive games like Anthem and stuff.
Okay, here's the tweet, and you guys can tell me exactly what he means. We have not announced an exact launch date yet for Crackdown 3 beyond February. Stay tuned. We have not announced exact date beyond February. Does that mean
that he's basically saying we've never said the release date? We just said February, which they did say release date of February 22nd.
Oh, when he says beyond, he means beyond saying the name of February.
Yeah, which, like we said, that tweet saying February 22nd got deleted. It's gone now. He's basically acting like that just never happened. And they officially said February 22nd. E3 hits, which they should have never done in the first place. E3 was right there. E3 hits. 4 other big games are on February 22nd. Exactly. What are those games? Anthem, Metro, right? Is Metro one of them?
Days Gone.
Days Gone, and there's like one more.
Devil May Cry.
No.
Metro.
February 22nd is Anthem, Metro, Days Gone, and Crackdown. Those are the 4 big games coming out that day.
3 other big games. We know that at least 2 of those are going to be pretty big. And now they're saying, well, we just said February. So expect it to be somewhere in February, but who knows when,
I think that sometimes Aaron Greenberg or Microsoft do put their foot in their mouth, and then they get caught in a little bit of a lie. But I also think that they're honestly in a very unique position with Game Pass. They're using data that they got from Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and now Forza, which is the biggest game they've put on Game Pass and probably the best game they've put on Game Pass. And they're using this data to maybe change things up for Crackdown 3 and still use that data to change things up for when Gears comes out or other games. I think they're kind of using this as a beta this year as a beta to check out what they can do to maximize sales on these exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. lot of good points there, and they did get caught with their pants down there. Aaron Greenberg's like, he noticed, and he pulled him up, and he still kind of got caught in.
Dealer, I just pulled something up. If you don't mind, if I read it from Game Reactor, they're saying that according to the Microsoft Store, it says this: Microsoft Store informs us that Crackdown 3 will launch on February 28th, 2019.
So that's Microsoft Store's pre-order date.
No, I don't know if they. Well, listen. Like I said, the article is limited to what they're saying, but I did just pull it from Game Reactor. It says a report: Crackdown 3 set to release on February 28th.
I mean, that could be a placeholder.
And they said, "Hey, when's this game coming out?" And I'm guessing the Microsoft Store said, "Yeah, it's supposed to release for 28th, right?"
Maybe.
Yeah. But that's kind of an odd date. I mean, honestly, I would move it forward, not backwards. But
I agree with you. I think you hit the nail right on the head, Dealer, when you said January. I think it's perfect.
Who knows?
I still like my idea, man, where they want you to be spent out and just have $10 in your pocket to go into Game Pass and then just stick with the program. I'm serious, man. Like, they want you to be a subscriber. They do.
Hey,
and they make money on all the other games that you're buying. If you're buying, Metro, or you're buying Anthem on Xbox, they make money on that. Then you throw them your $10 and you end up sticking around.
That's true.
I think they really do want that to happen, and they're going to start using some of these bigger games and release them around times of other big games. Because they know you're going to want to play them, but maybe not plunk down the top dollar to buy it, but you're sure as hell going to plop down $10 to rent it, quote unquote, for the month.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't fucking know, man. So I'm going to go ahead and. I mean, Shady's got a good point there. It could very well be the case. I don't know. I would assume they'd rather sell you and get a chunk of money up front instead of risking you unsubscribing. But then again, I figured people that wanted to rent it would rent it anyway. They would Game Pass it anyway. There's nothing stopping them. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, we got to move forward. Xbox, according to several sources, and I talked about this like a couple months ago, that Microsoft had sent Obsidian a letter of intent saying, "Hey, can we? You mind if we sneak in there and buy you and whatnot, and tell you what to do and give you a lot of money? And you can make whatever game you want." And we heard that was a thing months ago. Made a video on it. Now today, several sources, and shout out to over 650 people watching, guys, on a random ass Tuesday. Nothing like, we appreciate it. You guys always show up and support. You guys are awesome. But like I said, Obsidian essentially, according to Kotaku and several other sources, are owned by Microsoft right now. Microsoft locked down Obsidian, according to places like Kotaku and Games Radar and all these other places. So that has, I guess, come to fruition. And that's probably going to be one of the big announcements at XO18 taking place next month.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that initially after hearing that, D, after knowing they made Fallout 4 and all these other good games? And they made some doozies, too, largely in their financially restricted times. But what are your thoughts on that?
So with this, I'm curious, would this make them exclusive first party? Would they still continue to make games for...
No, that's first party, kind of like Ninja Theory. You make games for Xbox and Windows 10 only. That's
huge. That's huge because the one thing that Microsoft is lacking, of course, is their portfolio, and this is a major grab. So if this turns out to be true, this is huge fucking news, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, go ahead.
No, Top Dog, this fraud said they will be closed in 5 years. Over the past 5 years, Obsidian has almost closed several times. So if anything, these guys are going to be happy.
Gosh.
Yeah, they've essentially been saved. Essentially,
yeah. Dealer's like this just in: 2% milk is white. Top Dog's like, yeah, but if Microsoft had milk, it wouldn't be white anymore. It'd be more. Dude, we kid. Top Dog's a friend of ours. He's a big fan.
He's the biggest supporter. This guy's here every week. Man, Top Dog is one of the most loyal supporters.
Yeah, he is. He's loyal. He watches all our videos.
He loves Xbox too. Like he acts like a Sony guy, but this guy is really a massive Xbox fan.
Yeah, he loves it.
Been with the brand for 10 plus years, he said, and has a billion games as well. So Top Dog's a massive Xbox fan and,
loves it.
and a fucking fraud. So yeah. What were the other opinions here?
I think this is bigger than a lot of people realize. I think that they have about 170 developers that work for that company, which is, the coalition's 200. And they're another AAA developer coming in. But the big thing that they do is they're very good PC developers, to be honest. Pillars of Eternity runs extremely well. They made that off of like GoFundMe or something. And the game is crispy smooth. And that's something that, I feel that Microsoft's trying to hit. They're trying to hit Xbox and PC at the same time.
Hang on. You said crispy and smooth?
He said crispy smooth.
That's hard to do.
Crispy
That
Smooth
is hard.
is his daughter's R&B name.
It's a game where you play as Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah, Zucker's his name on his R&B album is Crispy Smooth.
Anyways, you frauds. The game.
They're good developers, is what you're trying to say.
They're pretty damn good developers, and they hit that RPG element more than most people are used to be honest. And that's something that they can bring exclusivity to and on Xbox and that platform is that deep, extremely deep RPG element, almost like Dragon Age and things like that. That's what they do, and that's what they strive to do.
Stuff, or even more in terms of RPG depth. I argued on my video about this a while back that maybe they should have been chosen for the Fable project, but we don't. Playground has hired all to BioShock, Batman talent, Rockstar talent. Like Playground ain't messing around. So
is Obsidian coming in to help Playground put together Fable since it's a big game? You never know.
No, they are apparently working on an RPG that they were doing for 2K, and one of the reports said that Xbox is basically absorbing that and going to publish it and buy it from them. That's what like I think 3 articles I read said that they've been working on an RPG for the last year and a half already.
Well, if they can't find a publisher for that RPG, like let's say 2K said no. Maybe it's best if Microsoft reassess the project and say,
oh no, 2K said yes. 2K is publishing it, but since they're being bought out by Microsoft, apparently Microsoft's buying up that license from 2K.
Okay, so they're saying, hey, let me take that off your hands.
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's recent. That's in an article here recently because I haven't been.
Yeah, that was today. That was on Kotaku's article and someone else's article. I forgot, but Kotaku was the first to report that.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's even better news because they could have a game announcement very soon from Obsidian.
Somebody said they could take over Scalebound, but I had like some other.
No, that's
other
Ninja
team.
Theory. If anybody takes over Scalebound, it's Ninja Theory, 1,000%.
I leave Steve Scalebound alone, man.
Let it die. Let it die.
Yeah, man.
D wants it to just let it rest.
I don't know how everyone got hyped up for that game in the first place. I was the only one in the crew saying I wasn't excited for that game.
I was with you, D. I didn't care. I didn't like the beats. I didn't like
we didn't give a shit about that game either. Really, it's not up our alley. But I noticed big YouTubers that were so upset when it was canceled magically. It was an epic fail.
Yeah, that was weird.
I just want to say I'm getting messages on Xbox saying #crispy smooth.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
Dealer will announce you as Crispy Smooth next time.
I got news for you, Zorker. When you come on the show the next time, I'm going to have a giveaway. The hashtag will be Crispy Smooth. I'm letting you know right now.
Hell yeah!
It's Crispy Smooth for the 9-3. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Regarding this Obsidian purchase, I think it's a good thing. If anything, I'd like to see that company finally get to break the shackles of having to do constant piecework to stay afloat. They really come across as a studio with a lot of potential and a lot of drive, and they're just missing big financing and a lot of deep resources to get their hands into. And Microsoft can offer them both and really let their dreams go wild, man. And I think that studio wants to do it bad. I hope this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dealer, did they just hire 600 people last week and then acquire 170 people from Obsidian?
No. Like I said, according to the source, it's all in that video, is through by the end of this year, they will have hired over 600 developers,
Okay.
basically in total. So we know that 177 got added to Playground's second team. We're not supposed to know about this Obsidian thing yet. Keep that in mind. So this is including everyone that they've added on since basically Terry Myerson got the fuck out of Microsoft and stopped holding the entire brand back. They were able to say, hey, okay, here's some money. You can actually have your funds back and let's do this right. And since then, they've announced the 5 studio thing at E3, and they announced well over $1 billion putting the games over almost 2 years ago, which is what a lot of people are forgetting about. Where are these top quality games? So you got to remember that you do have Ori, Crackdown 3, and Gears 5 coming out next year. That's confirmed. Well, I don't care about Gears. Well, the Gears fans don't give a fuck if you care about Gears, right? they don't care about your Destiny or your fucking Gravity Rush, right? So it's not about you specifically. So everyone's got their kind of pie here. So there are 3 games. Ori, it's a smaller game, but it is a quality game. We know that. Anybody who's played Ori in the Blind Forest really knows that Ori's the real deal. So that's something. Can't not act like it's not coming out. So you get Crackdown.
I don't care if you don't like Crackdown, because I absolutely love Crackdown. So
Right there with you.
There you go. So hey, at the end of the day, we don't know how that game's going to turn out. I can't stand it when people act like games are trash and they've never even played them, or they're just, the games aren't even out and that's trash. How do you know? You don't know, and you sound stupid when you're trying to be absolute like that. So, and that's like for several people in the community. I don't understand it. But you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to play games, but everyone's so mad, and they're saying it's all about the games, always has been. But then they made Xbox One X reviews and talked about how great it was because every game ran better. I get that. But why are we contradicting ourselves now? That doesn't make any sense to me. And why are we playing third-party stuff only and not supporting things like Spider-Man on day one? If we're literally talking about exclusive games and that's all it's about, then why are we playing third parties and stuff? Aren't those available on multiple platforms? So I don't harbor any bad feelings towards these people, but it is frustrating when there's just constant nagging 24/7 over something that we're supposed to be happy about. Games.
And I'd like to remind everybody that, this spring and all the way up until the end of the year have been like a really high peak for gaming, like with God of War and Spider-Man. I absolutely loved State of Decay 2.
Bro, God of War,
loves Sea of Thieves, like Spider-Man,
Tomb Raider, Forza Horizon 4. Like, there's so much stuff to play.
Odyssey, we've got Red Dead coming. Fallout 76 might be good. It might be sucky. I don't know.
Since Spider-Man came out and all the way to December, I mean, we're going to be enjoying gaming. This is like the golden time of the year for this stuff. It's freaking amazing.
And we're talking about, Microsoft's talking about giving us more ways to play our Game Pass. The streaming thing looks like it could be a really big deal. It looks like it could actually really work. And instead of us like being excited about gaming evolving in a way that can help us enjoy our hobby more, I see way more people just angry and upset and throwing, mocking and like, where are these gamers? Like, you've been given like the most incredible year for fun, and you're the grumpiest Debbie Downers around. It's like, have some fun. Holy crap. I mean, I remember Dealer and I just a couple months ago, we weren't sure if we were even going to bother with Assassin's Creed Odyssey this year. We would be too busy. We'd buy it on sale. And it's one of the best games we played all year among some of the other incredible games. And my speech is over. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, you're right. Like I said, just to sum it up, you've got things like God of War, phenomenal. Spider-Man, great. Forza Horizon 4, one of the best racing games of all time. Then you've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Then you've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Then you've got Red Dead Redemption. Like, and these same people are still playing just Destiny. And I don't get it.
Call of Duty Blackout.
I just don't get it. It's time to play some games. If you play some games, then you stop complaining about not playing games. I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, people on Twitter are tired of hearing about how horrible everything is and all this shit. So, hey, Sony CEO says that it is necessary to have a next generation console. Some take it as a shot towards this whole Microsoft streaming xCloud service, and Project xCloud. And some take it as a shot towards that, considering the timing. They're talking about the absolute necessity for next generation hardware. I feel like this is common sense. Yes, I feel like some people don't understand how much better the games could look or perform because they look so great now in the X. But the CPU alone, D-Batch, you had to raise your hands here and praise Jeebus here, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't understand this. First of all, we know that there's going to be a next generation console. The console's not going to die. Microsoft even said it in this press release, the rollout of the xCloud. So I have no idea what Sony's going on about. They just, I don't know. They just want some type of attention or something.
I don't think it was as malicious as some other people are taking it. But Microsoft even talked about at E3 2018 that they will have the benchmark for next generation consoles. It'll be the fastest system available. And people acting like Project xCloud is the only option you're going to have.
I thought that was a dream, Dealer. I don't remember Phil being on stage talking to everybody saying that they're not going to leave the console behind and that they're going to make it one of the most powerful consoles and keep that power.
And that it will be the primary way people play, but this is for people that don't have it, right?
That was an illusion. Come on, that never happened.
I think the Scarlett devices are pretty much going to cover the streaming aspect. So I think you'll probably have like a Scarlett stick, and I'm going to guess here maybe a Scarlett handheld that you can play on the go. And of course, you're going to have your traditional console. You're always going to have a traditional console. People are always going to want to play on their television, like Microsoft said with your surround sound. If you want to play 4K with HDR, you're not going to be able to do that on a streaming device. These
at least right now.
Yeah, these new capable systems, they're going to be pushing the boundaries of graphics which the streaming service won't be able to hold up at the beginning, maybe years down the road. But initially, I think we should be happy with 1080p 60. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get 1440p type of streaming. But you're not going to be getting 4K 60 frames per second out the door with no issues. They're going to want this to be a smooth rollout, so they're going to temper what they give us in the beginning until they're confident enough to support these higher resolutions. And still at that, if you have no internet, you're going to need a hard system to play your games.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an obvious statement. I think it's a massive damage control statement. 1 week we've got Google coming out, plugging this big streaming thing. People are talking about it all over the place. Next week, Xbox does the same. People are talking about it. What happens the week after? Sony comes out. We have a next-gen console coming, because they're not doing the streaming thing. They can't do this.
I think they are. I think you'll see.
They're going to try, but they can't do it on the level that Google and Microsoft are.
They may not be ready as soon as Microsoft.
Yeah, dealer.
So I think it's a damage control statement, man. They're just trying to stay relevant and feed their ignorant fans that think that Xbox is abandoning consoles altogether. Just trying to reinforce that zealotry, baby. I'm out.
What are you saying, D?
like for instance, if you're saying that they're going to be doing the streaming service, well, they're doing it now pretty much with PS Now, and that's fucking horrible.
Yeah,
it's
terrible.
It's not good. So what are they going to do better? Whose servers are they going to use? Are they going to use Microsoft servers? Are they going to use Google servers?
I don't know.
Who are they going to use?
That's
Google and Amazon
question, D. I have no clue.
If Google and Amazon are using their server banks to get into the gaming business, why would they want to rent out some to PlayStation? Wouldn't that be their competition? Would they be like, get your own?
They're not going to do that. They're gonna be the.
Well, you got to remember that Microsoft told Sony they could use Xbox Live servers if they wanted.
Oh, I'm sure they could. I mean,
they just knew that Sony would say no.
That Wired article specifically talking about all this streaming stuff, they did say that the companies that are best positioned to be successful at streaming games right now are Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, because they already have the network infrastructure in place and they own them. They're not renting it out. They don't have to build it. It's there and ready to go.
Come to them for the cheeseburgers.
Microsoft has 154 countries that it has servers in. That's incredible.
You got to remember they have servers, Azure Cloud Network servers, in territories where the Xbox isn't even available, right? So when they're talking about reaching 2 billion gamers with a B, this is how they're going to do it. And that's primarily where you'll see their streaming customers is in territories all over the world where Xbox isn't even a thing, but you'll be able to play and buy games from that marketplace. So speaking of the Wired article, Shady, Phil Spencer essentially talked about the cloud stuff, all that. You saw it in the debut video. All that information has leaked down to the top, and they've done an interview with Wired where Wired basically talked about several different things about the project xCloud. So
they got hands-on. They played it.
Yeah. So for one, they say you'll need about around 10 megabytes per second to utilize this. Basically 4G speeds and up, you're good to go. Okay. So I've got, 100 here. I don't know. What's the lowest? Who's rocking the lowest internet in the chat? Let us know. And trust me, we are not pointing out like, you suck, your internet's slow. I honestly want a metric here of who's rocking 10.
Put your number of your megabits per second, your speed.
Yeah.
I get an idea. 1,000 per second.
I know the article made specific, like it was highlighted to say that the speeds necessary to run the xCloud are available to the vast majority of cell phone users walking around in the streets of the United States today. It's already there. You already have it. It's nothing massive. You don't need 5G to run it. You don't need 25 down like Google. It's 10, and that is already below what most people have. So it comes down to data cap.
People were worried about data caps, like how much is this using? How much bandwidth is this using compared to people running Netflix for like 7 hours a day?
Let me get through this list of things real quick here first, and then we'll kind of go in depth here. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Charlie Walker in the super chat says that basically Sony are worried about Microsoft's capability. It's damage control. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But honestly, I'm hearing, and I'm not the only one, that Sony are working on something better for this, because they know, like all of these billionaire fucking corporations, that hey, streaming cloud, it's going to be one of the biggest things of the future. Just because you don't know how it's going to work or you don't understand how good it can be doesn't mean that it's not going to be a thing. So we'll get into that. But like I said, according to Wired.com, who actually got hands-on apparently and had the information from Microsoft, you need 10 megabytes per second. they said, this is their words, no perceivable lag, according to Wired.com. They could not feel any lag at all. Right? Now, that doesn't mean there is none. I don't know personally. I don't know what that situation was. But to them, right now, I'm saying this thing's going to be widely available in 2020, meaning it's going to launch in 2020. They'll probably have public trials next year, according to Rand. It'll probably be something you can partake in 2020. As of right now, though, a year and a half before it comes out, no perceivable lag, according to Wired.com. Also, streaming services basically are going to allow to play your Xbox games anywhere, provided the publisher of those games have agreed. Now, here's what I want to cap that off with. People will say, well, why would a publisher agree to let you play the Assassin's Creed Odyssey that you just bought anywhere you want to play it? Well, for one, more engagement doesn't hurt. Secondly, if you allow your game to be part of this project xCloud, right, you essentially over triple your install base. Because at minimal, even lowballing it, they're shooting for over 1 billion people. Let's lowball it and say only 200 million people have access to this service. You just quadrupled your install base of people that can buy your game because it's streamable. So we already know Ubisoft are down. They're working with Google. So they say basically you'll be able to stream all your purchases from Xbox, provided that the publisher has agreed to let it be a thing.
That's right. Same with like the backwards compatibility. All the work needed to get this thing up and running is on Xbox's end. They just need the publisher's approval to say, yeah, the next Call of Duty is we're fine with it, and then Xbox makes it work, and that's it. And I think a lot of this is the legal reasons, because a lot of these games are from the past and were originally licensed just to work on the consoles that they do now. And because there's now other devices, just for legal reasons, they do need permission. They can't just do it themselves. But like Dealer said, it makes nothing but business sense to open up your game to hundreds of millions of potential new buyers. It really does.
Yeah, and if you disagree, let us know. I mean, I honestly can't think of a negative of Ubisoft saying, let's just say 40 million Xboxes at the time, just to say it. Well, we got 40 million potential customers. A certain percentage generally pick the game up. Or we could hit this button and then unlock it for streaming. Boom, that number goes up to 200 million. How is that?
Yeah, exactly. And you're not limited. And you're not limited to basically having to have a customer buy a console that you don't make money on. These people sell consoles at a loss. Sony has Nintendo. I don't think they do, but I know that Sony and Xbox do. And now they just, you know what? Hey, if you want to play on your phone, you already have a device. It cuts that out for Microsoft, and they make most of their money from the software. As a business, as a person that, like, you know, if you want to make money, like, why wouldn't they do this? Why would they not pursue it? And as a customer, it's awesome, because to be honest, we can play wherever we want because we already have phones, we already have tablets, we already have all these devices around us, and we take it with us every single day when we go to work or when we go wherever we want. And we can
look down at your phone, Zucker. Does it say 4G at the top left? Then
it does say 4G. Yeah, and I would be able to play my game if I'm, you know, wherever the hell I am at work or whatever. And that's awesome.
On that portable aspect, you think this could start chipping into the Switch's appeal, being a portable game system? Because the Switch it's only a Switch. It's not a phone. It's not a tablet. You got no YouTube. You got no Netflix. It's all it is. And it's not exactly small. So when you can use your phone and play legit modern console games, not indies only, I think it's going to kill the Switch's appeal when it comes to that online stuff, or the mass appeal outside, you know? It's going to be
indies only, and the Switch is doing a version of streaming as well with like Odyssey and Resident Evil, but not at the fidelity of this, and it's not really widely available either. I don't even know who that's going through. Who's
it's available only in Japan, as far as I know.
Due to the high-speed service that they have over there, everyone pretty much has super high speed over there. So
that's right, but
I'll say this though, I have a Switch, and my one gripe with the Switch is the graphics for sure, but the controllers. Like when you have it in handheld mode, it gets pretty cramped quickly. Now with the xCloud, I saw how they had the phone clipped onto the controller there. You're using a full ass controller, so you have the full functionality of your Xbox One controller. I think that's fantastic. And I know you're saying earlier about the perceived lag. When I do the streaming inside my house, or even when I hack it to like stream it when I'm at work, I don't perceive any type of lag there as well. So I really do believe this statement.
That's good. That's good. And for those curious, you'll just be able to connect your Xbox One controller. As you know, all of them, all the ones that are newly made since 2016 have Bluetooth in them. So you just connect your controller to your phone via Bluetooth and you are good to go. Hey, we got to give a shout out to over 650 people watching us live. Guys, hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 before the end of the show. Really, guys, at the end of the day, I am disappointed in the lack of common sense I've seen in the community about this. I'm disappointed in those that say, I don't really care. It's not my thing. But, blah, blah, blah. But they're so upset over the fact that it's a thing. And they refuse to mention that it is an option, the one that they said most people, especially here in the States, probably wouldn't go with. They would go with the already benchmark, quote unquote, of a next generation console that they are already making, that they've already talked about at E3 2018. So I'm blown away by the lack of critical thinking here. So once again, not a bad thing. They're not giving up. This is an option, much like Play Anywhere. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you don't. And the only reason you care that your game's on different platforms, which it will not be on the PlayStation, Sony won't even let EA access on the PlayStation, is because you're so worried about the console war stuff that you don't want your game to be anywhere else but one place. Yeah. And you know what? There are people, I used to be like that a long time ago. But at the end of the day, we all got to kind of come forward and say, how does that benefit me to only be able to play it on one platform? It does.
Also, too, being that these games are in Microsoft's ecosystem, they still get points for it. So there's that.
Yep, they do. You get all your same reward points and stuff. So here's my question, guys. Why is this a bad thing to people, D? Why do you think this is a negative to some people?
Okay, for some people, they're just scared of change, and this is just a normal reaction. They freak out, the sky is falling, and I think the ones that are really affected by this negatively are fanboys, because they want to have this console war. Yeah, we're selling, we're the best.
No, there are data caps though, which is I pointed out in my video, like terabyte data caps on average. How hard do you think it's going to hit people?
I honestly tell you, if it's truly doing it at 10 megabytes per second, it's not going to be that bad, because
it's less than half of Google, right?
Yeah, I've actually watched when I've streamed games how much information is taken from the server. It's not that much. You'd be surprised the way they encrypt everything and decompress it. It's not that much. So I think people will survive with it, to be honest.
Those people are running Netflix for like 6 hours a day, but
their little video, real quick, Colt. The video I showed at the end of my video yesterday, the full trailer for this, they talked about new ways of encrypting the data and basically making all that more efficient as well. So what are you saying, Colt?
T Gameplays in the chat says xCloud has made the Xbox irrelevant, and for me, I thank Microsoft. Now, what this guy doesn't understand is once xCloud is accessible on your smart TV and you can sit down and play that game like in the comfort of your home, like maybe you can make the decision whether you want to buy an Xbox or not. But like right now, we're talking about like on a tablet or a phone is all they're talking about, right? Are they talking about xCloud going to PCs?
Yeah, PC as well.
Yep, everywhere, but essentially PlayStation.
So what are the requirements for like what does your tablet have to be a certain generation?
No, it doesn't.
Internet with 10.
Yeah, you just need internet, because everything is done through the server. So you just need to be able.
Your device needs to be powerful enough to tell the server when to move and what to do.
So what T Gameplays needs to understand is Microsoft has been upfront and transparent about them wanting you to buy games on their service. They want you to buy a game on Xbox Live or on the Xbox Store and play them. They want you to buy and play games and have them where you want. They want your games to be like your Voodoo account or your iTunes or Google Play account, that wherever you go, you should be able to play or access the stuff you paid for. So if T Gameplays doesn't want to buy an Xbox console and he just wants to stream the few games he missed because he only plays on PC or PS4, that's great. And you know what? I would encourage you to do that, man. Have fun with it. It's not a big console war thing. It's good. It's good for gaming, and everyone else is going to follow suit.
I'll just say all this gameplay and all these other blockbuster video thinking motherfuckers got to realize that the industry has shifted towards game sales and user numbers, not console sales. Who gives a fuck how many pieces of plastic you sold? How many people are playing your games today? And when you're selling them to billions, it's going to be higher on one end and not on the other.
Think about it like cell phones, right? Like if a billion people play Candy Crush, are like, well, the iPhone 4 won because it had the most people on that phone playing that game. No, it came down to that overall number. And I want to point out one last thing before I let whoever just had a seizure continue. PlayStation Now tried this 5 years ago.
Yes.
Nobody had a problem with this. As a matter of fact, damage control for half a decade. They then send it to PC. You can play 200 PS4 games on PC now. All right. Mobile is the next step for PlayStation now, and they will try to improve this technology to compete. So just remember that when you're talking about services, games as a service, Sony did that in 2013. You paid $10+ a month to play games. Games as a service. All right. They did it a long time ago. It didn't work out that well. Now people are afraid that this will actually work based off of what we're hearing from people that have played it. And people are scared. And I'm not sure why.
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is the data cap. People understand that if you stream Netflix, you understand that you need to stream 4K HDR Netflix. You need 25 megabits to start it off. That's what the recommended is. To do HD, just regular, you need about I think it's like 7 to 13. And after the hour, you go through 7 gigabytes of data after an hour of streaming 4K and 3 gigabytes of data streaming an hour of HD. We're already there, folks. You're already doing this. You're just going to be doing it with a game.
Yeah,
that's all.
Netflix is a game, right?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Stream like Netflix, and you're going to be playing your games just like it.
Hey, Ellen just in the super chat there says, if Sony want to reach over 150 million gamers, which they've never done before in a generation, apparently, you need streaming. To get to that billion, you need streaming. And I would say, there's something there to be kind of thought about.
It's once again, it's a companion service. It's not going to replace traditional hardware. It never will. It'll just simply complement it. And, you're on the road, you're on the go, you're at the doctor's office, you're at a game, you're at your kid's recital, whatever, you can.
Yeah, good job, honey. Yeah.
on that compliment note, do you think there's going to be some kind of a barrier? Like, do you think you're going to be only for gold members, or anyone with an Xbox Live Silver can play these games?
That's the thing. I think they're going to have to get rid of that cap, because I don't think Google is going to be charging an online fee. And if they're going to want to compete with those guys, I think they're going to have to get rid of that.
Well, you'll need a Microsoft account because you'll have to buy the games, but I don't think you'll need gold on. I was kind of leaning towards that, but I was like, Google doesn't do that. So that's a massive disadvantage.
We were talking about that last night. Are they going to charge $5 a month for this? Or are they going to require a gold account? And if they do, I've said a lot of nice things about this xCloud service. If they do charge a paywall, like a $5 a month service fee, or require gold, I will have a totally new video to make, because I think that would be really, really awful.
Yeah,
they would charge you to access games, because Phil Spencer said, I think you should be able to play your games where the ones you bought wherever you want. And if he turns around and says, "Oh, as long as you're a gold member," that's not cool.
Yeah, which I don't think they would do. I think the incentive to open your platform up and quintuple the user base easily without even trying, if you do this, right? Anybody with 4G easily quintuple your user base. That alone, to have the potential to sell that many more games, is incentive enough for them to just say, "Hey, this is a feature. If you want to stream your games, buy them and you can stream them."
That's just it. I think these are some walls we can all agree as a people we don't want to see built. Is more paywalls to get to.
No, absolutely. Deal. I gotta say, being one of the older guys on the panel, I just turned 48, right? So I've been gaming since 78.
Represent.
Yeah, listen, I'm not ashamed about it. I've had the privilege and the honor of seeing this entire industry from its infancy to now. And, usually old dogs don't do new tricks. I said that in my video, and I cannot begin to tell everyone how excited I am to see this happen. I started out with RF switches that you had to use a screwdriver to put onto your back of your freaking TV with rabbit ears, right? Jeez. You know what I'm saying? And when we had a controller with one stick and a button, and now I'm playing on something called the Elite Controller, which is the greatest controller of all time. And now you're telling me I'm going to be able to literally, I have 700 Xbox One and Xbox 360 games on my 13 terabytes that's sitting right next to me, right? You're telling me that I will be able to logistically play that anywhere I want. How could you have a problem with that? That is what really
made a good point, because Top Dog says you're free from owning your games. Now, you own a bunch of digital or physical games, or a mix of both?
I actually own 758 digital titles right now as we speak.
Okay, Zocker, can you explain to the audience, if Boomstick had 700 disc-based games, explain to them about ownership of video games in this world we live in. Because we were talking about this last
You don't
night.
own the license to any of these games.
You don't own the license at all to any of them. If Microsoft or Sony or whoever it is decides to shut down their services, you're going to put that CD in to your nice little Xbox, and it's going to tell you to fuck right off because you don't own anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah, worrying about like a streaming service, letting you play games you already bought digitally, not having access, that there's no difference to what it's always been. Just like I think Mikey Barra had to say that last year. He had to say something because there was some rumor news going around that Microsoft's going to pull licensing on games. Can't remember what it was, but he said, we're not doing anything different. That was about like banning people but that's what it's basically the same thing. They haven't done anything. Nothing's changed. This is exactly how it's always been. When you bought an old PC game that had like 4 DVDs in it that you had to install in the accordion case, you don't own that game. It's a software license you're borrowing that you paid for to borrow.
Ubisoft is firing people from Rainbow Six Siege, whether it's a digital purchase or a disc. They don't give a damn. You're out if you don't play by the rules.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I think this whole thing with the streaming servers, the one thing I kind of want to say about it is that I'm happy that Microsoft and Sony and every gaming development is going towards this, because to me it shows that they care about gaming and they care about gaming's future. If they didn't take gaming seriously, they would not put the resources and the time into making this streaming so it reaches more people. This is just great for every gamer alive right now, because they're taking gaming extremely serious and they see it as a profitable industry where we're going to get even better games and more competition coming our way. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to see. I want to see them take tech and push it to the boundaries. I don't want them to stay stuck and stupid and stay in the 90s and the early 2000s and, I could only play in my living room. No, I want everybody to see my games. I don't care. It's free advertising for them. It's just a good time to be alive, to be playing these games with the technology that's pushing it forward.
The more users, the more sales. The more sales, the more investment. The more investment, the better games. And that's what it all comes down to.
Simple.
Also, some people are thinking this can be like Netflix. Oh, I was in the middle of Odyssey and you guys removed it because it's May. No. Jesus, we have to explain the most common sense shit to everybody. So once more, guys, Phil Spencer also talked about going to Japan and doing some, and shout out to almost 700 people watching live, guys. We appreciate it. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to the 300 for the day of the show. Phil Spencer basically in Japan again doing work. And I've heard some good rumors about some big Japanese titles coming to the Xbox for those of you that are interested. Now, much like those that are like, oh, Crackdown, I don't care about that. You don't hear me saying that. I say it's not for me, but I can understand that some of these Japanese titles are for some of you. And that is a plus. Options are good, right? So Phil Spencer doing work. Zalker, real quick, what do you think he's kind of finalizing over there? He's going to be working on something.
I think he's finalizing a couple games, or maybe he has a couple deals. And, I don't know if it's exclusivity. I think it's just bringing these games that people use on their list wars, like, oh, this is what PlayStation launched with. I think he's going to those developers because they're not first party to Sony. I think he's going to them and kind of giving them.
Is not first party, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just came to PlayStation. It hasn't come to Xbox yet. There's no deal there.
Yeah, during an interview at E3, Phil was yelled at, not yelled, aggressively, just somebody saying Persona 5. And Phil said, I hear you. I completely hear you. And that's what I think he's working on, getting those type of third-party games onto Xbox and make them available to their fan base. Because even if it's a small amount, like we said, 7 million PlayStations, that's still a couple million people to jump on Xbox, because one, it's going to look better on it. And two, the game, it's very easy to develop on the Xbox. We've heard that.
A Tryhard fan mentions Yakuza in the chat, and that's one of the ones I heard that you would see on Xbox probably in the next year. So even though it's kind of late to the party, it's
better late than never.
And speaking on this Japanese trip, Hood News Media's got a quick question for us, and he wants to know, does Xbox need to build a first-party Japanese dev from the ground up over there? I say no. All the big banger exclusives on Sony's don't come from Japanese developers. They're not the ones putting out the Spider-Man and the God of Wars and the Uncharted's and any of it. So I don't think it's needed at all.
Build a team for you.
Yeah, I don't think to build one is necessary. Just make the deals you got to make in order to get the games to come over here instead of being overlooked.
We had a lot of RDX questions. If you don't follow me at dealer_gaming on Twitter, I put that up. Sometimes I forget because, whatever. But I did put it up this week, and Shady had some questions here for us. Let me know when you got those, Shady. You got them now?
Yeah, I do actually. There was a quick one that we can do. We've touched on a couple. We had a few that were looking for our opinions on some of the topics we did hit tonight. So I'm glad that we were able to get to them. But our nice one, I think, is if you could have your dream studio with the proper passion and your dream superhero, what would be the game and who would be the studio?
I don't know, and like I said, it'd be hard. It's hard to choose because, in my opinion, there's only two really great superhero games studios so far that have really achieved that. Raven Software made a Wolverine game a while back that was legit.
Yep,
it was.
Were you in Heal? Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of a hard. You got a different question, good question, but kind of a hard question to talk about.
Okay, well, I'll answer. I would go with Spawn myself, and I'd be totally down with Rocksteady to do it because they've proven themselves. So, I mean, that is my answer.
I'd like
working on something though. What if they're? Because I mean, I would choose Rocksteady almost every time as of right now. So what if they're already busy?
Well, I mean, I don't know. This is my dream. God damn it! Don't shit on it. How about that? Out of all the acquired studios, this is coming from R. Rob. Which company do you think is going to release their first game, and what type of game do you think it's going to be?
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory is the closest one from what I hear.
What type of game?
Obsidian, if what you said is true, Obsidian would be the first one because their shit's already like almost ready, right?
Yeah, I mean that's true. Obsidian could be one, but I mean so far for what we go off of, I think Phil has said that Ninja Theory's been working on something for a little while now. Like they weren't sitting on their hands when Hellblade launched.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at XO they show what Obsidian is working on and Ninja Theory at the same time and make that announcement and boom, show some gameplay.
And then a big time friend of the show, Lady Luca. She wants to know. She wants to know why are peeps so bitter and angry about shit that does not affect them. What's up with that?
That's a really good question, Lady Luca. That's the best question I've ever heard in my fucking life. Because everyone seems to say it's not for them, but they're so upset about everything else all the time, and I have no clue. I don't know. I think it's people they're not being rational. They're not even keeping track of the things they've said in the past, and they're directly contradicting much of what they've ever said about most everything. I just think it's people in general are just not all that rational.
I'm going to say something kind of wild and crazy. I normally don't kind of go off the deep end on a comment but I kind of have this feeling that some of the fans that don't like Xbox, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost feel like they don't want Microsoft to do better. Like they see them buying all these studios and finally getting off their butts after a year and a half, almost 2 years, and pushing for games to finally come onto the Xbox platform because they had a really, really bad era there, and they're trying to push forward with streaming, which should be a really good thing. But
that's a different team, by the way. That's their cloud team.
It's not a games team, right? And I just have this feeling that people really don't want Microsoft to do better because they're used to them doing subpar in this generation, and I think they've just been used to PlayStation dominating, and they don't want that threat, however far behind they are to PlayStation. I just don't think that is like the right way to think of gaming. If Microsoft comes out, starts kicking total butt and starting to catch up, Sony's going to do even better. You know, it's a really good thing. Think
about this, Colt. Before they announced the acquisition and creation of new studios and all that at E3, what were we? Every single week we would talk about the need for more first-party content.
Yes.
Every single week we were talking about the need for more games because we hadn't heard anything about more games. Boom, we hear things about more games, and guess what? We only mention it once every couple of weeks because we know no matter how much we bitch, we can't speed up time. And we
don't want to because
for people to watch. It's not enjoyable for us to sit here and fucking complain every single week about shit we know is coming, but we will then now act like we don't know it's coming. And we, no matter what we say, we can't speed it up. So I'd rather them take their time and build some fucking masterpieces. That's what I want from them.
I'll also say, I think kind of goes with her question is, I have two pet peeves. People that, don't play a game and then trash it. And try to ruin the experience of other people playing the game. Like kind of like, oh, you're playing that game, it's trash. And the people that actually try to play the game, but all they're looking for is negativity in the game. And they try to bring your experience down. I absolutely find that a complete waste of time. If you don't like the game, walk away. And I as a personal guy that loves Sea of Thieves, I've gotten a lot of crap for it. I just feel like, why are we talking about it if you don't like it? It's not a big deal.
In the chat, Sony guy. Microsoft gets better, Sony gets better. Absolute fact.
Perfect.
So, I mean, there are tons of cool Sony dudes out there. I talk to them every day. But for some reason, some guys that aren't even really hardcore Sony guys constantly complaining.
Yeah, I think with the Lucas question there, I think negativity is just the new cool drug of choice, especially since the internet more or less monetized the goddamn thing. You know, it draws clicks, and clicks bring money, so it's easier to be a fucking asshole and just look for trouble everywhere, even if you have to make it up, than it is to say that the game is awesome and you're having a good time with it.
On that note, which good word is there, Shady, we got to get the fuck out of here. We want to thank all of you guys for rocking out with us 700 tonight. We do appreciate it. Hit that like button as we exit the show and do some outros. Well, got another RDX sponsor during the show. Got the email there. So once again, guys, if you want to sponsor the show, shout outs, questions, and support the channel, stuff like that, link down below. Giving away Assassin's Creed Odyssey this month on Patreon, along with 12 other things you can choose from. Like I said, link in the description. And shout out to this panel. Follow this panel. Follow Colt Eastwood, all these guys. We'll get into their intros. Starting with the naughty dog of YouTube, which is Colt Eastwood. Where can people find you? What have you been playing?
Oh my gosh. You can find me at Colt Eastwood on YouTube and Twitter. I am playing Forza Horizon 4 and Assassin's Creed. I need to finish Assassin's Creed before Red Dead. I'm in a really bad situation. Yeah. It's awful. I'm like a 9 out of 10 for happiness. Like as a gamer right now, like I've been playing nonstop great games ever since Spider-Man came out, Shout out the Tomb Raider and these two games. So yeah, I would just encourage everyone that when you see that negativity, try and just turn the other way, because unhappy people are trying to bring other people down to their level so they can have a buddy that's just like them.
Complaining about games, but you gotta buy games, so you stop complaining about games, because
those games bring happiness and fun when you sit down after a long day of working and dealing with people's crap. No, hey, but you know what? I don't want to take up too much time, but this panel is awesome. Glad to have Boom here. Glad to have Zocker here, and of course Shady and Dealer D. That's the usuals. But you know, the chat is really good tonight too, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great show. Absolutely fantastic. Chat was fire. Shout out to Noof and Lethal and all you motherfuckers that are always here. You power the show. We've also got D Batch. Hey, man, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing WWE 2K19. Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's your bag, bud.
I've been playing Forza Horizon 4 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Great game. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at D_Batch and at YouTube at DBatch. And today I did a video on Intel's faked benchmarks. So please check
Tell us about those real quick. Just 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, so basically they did a paid benchmark with the i9 9900K versus the 2700X, and they basically disabled the capabilities on the Ryzen processor. They made it a quad core instead of 8 cores and 16 threads. They were running it at 4 cores and 8 threads, and they turned off the overclocking for the memory and put the memory really low. And we all know that Ryzen loves fast memory. So,
but what about those who don't overclock their RAM?
Well, you should always overclock your RAM, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter as much on the Intel platform, but for Ryzen, you want your
very memory hungry. They need that RAM.
Yeah, you want running.
You made a video on that today, though. Right?
Yeah, I did a video on that, so you guys can check all the details on that. But shady practices from Intel, man. Come on,
I'll be the judge.
You also did a graphics comparison for Forza Horizon 4 and stuff as well. Check that out on D's channel. We've also got So Shady. What have you been playing, bud? And where do people find you?
Man, I have been Sparta kicking dudes, they're wolves, motherfucking lions off of cliffs. I've been having the wind blow through my hair in Forza, and I've been playing a little bit of Planet Alpha for my indie fix there, man. You can find me in exactly 50 hours and 19 minutes playing Blackout. It's going to be big time. Other than that, of course, on Twitter, I am So Shady at the Sesh Empire. Also on Xbox, So Shady. And then every single week here on Tuesday for the RDX podcast.
Yeah, that was an abrupt ending there.
It was. Sorry,
it was like
I had to take a breath, and then
it's okay. Yeah.
Like a balloon.
Through my ear, I'm fine. So that's Shady. Of course, check him out. Follow him at the Sesh Empire on Twitter, or go to my Twitter. If you follow me, his name is in the list for the RDX post. We've also got Zauker87, the man with a million lies.
Crispy smooth.
Everybody, how's it going?
Crispy
smooth coming at you. You guys can find me at Zalker87 YouTube. It's ZALKER87. I put content out every day almost, or try to. And you can find me on Twitter at Shocked87. And what I've been playing is freaking Assassin's Creed, nothing else, basically. Game's taking over my life. It's crispy fucking smooth.
Nice. Love it.
Yep, I'd have to agree. It's many things. Hey, and we've also got Boom. Thanks for stopping by with us, buddy. I knew you had a lot of perspective and opinion on Assassin's Creed that I heard directly contradicted my own. And that's, like I said, thanks for coming in and kind of letting us know your thoughts on Assassin's Creed as well. I wanted to kind of have a good discussion with somebody who actually had some real time in the game. And I'm glad that, you're having a great time with Assassin's Creed and stuff. Where can people find you? And of course, what have you been playing?
Well, it's been Assassin's Creed all day, all night. That's taken over, like Zolka said, basically taken over my life. If you want to follow me, just go to Twitter and just punch in Mr. Boomstick XL and you'll find me. I do have a YouTube channel. I do put on 2 live shows weekly. They are morning shows. One is the Xbox Factor podcast on Thursday mornings at 11. And of course, Friday mornings is Breakfast with Boom, where I have 4 to 5 rotating chairs, new guests each and every week. And real quick before we go, Deal, I just wanted to announce that in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, 50% of all Super Chat that I get for all 8 shows for the entire month of October, my wife and I will be donating to a breast cancer awareness site.
Awesome. And just so you know, that's 50% of 70%. Google is they're great sons of bitches.
They are, but you know what? People have been very generous, and awesome. We're hoping to. I mean, it's not going to be a lot. I mean, we're hoping to hit at least $300, but 50% of whatever I get in those 8 shows will be donated to charity.
I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's really, really awesome of you, man. So check out Boomstick stuff. Very productive. Eternal Shadow says the reason in the super chat, he says the reason people are a little salty with Xbox is because they focused on indies at the end of the 360 and not really AAAs, left a sour taste in their mouths. I mean, it could be the case, man. But I'm trying to live in the present. And right now we have identified the issues and hopefully they get solved. But once again, you guys, thank you for rocking out with us. Check out Boomstick, check out D, Shady, Zauker, Cole Eastwood, and of course myself for even more thoughts on the Project Cloud stuff. Plus the actual trailer is at the end of my narrative on that video as well. So once more, guys, check out the links down below, Patreon and more. We're out.
Take it easy.
Later.
Be nice.
I signed it twice.
Chris.